In today's lesson, you're going to learn another way of solving a quadratic function, which is called solving by completing the square. So if you remember a while back, we talked about perfect square trinomials, and that's when you can wind up getting two binomials from the trinomial that are exactly the same. Therefore, it's a perfect square because it's a number times itself. So we're going to be using that idea today to solve by completing the square. So our procedure is to first rewrite the equation of the quadratic function so that ax squared plus bx equals c. Second, factor out the a value. Third, determine the square of half the b value. Fourth, add and subtract that number from the equation. This keeps the equation the same, but starts the process of completing the square. Fifth, rewrite the first three terms, now a perfect square trinomial, as the square of a binomial. So as you can see in the examples, x squared plus 8x plus 16 would be x plus 4 all squared. X squared minus 12x plus 36 would be x minus 6 all squared. And then 6, solve the equation by doing opposite operations until x equals just a number. So taking a look at number 1, I'm going to jump around in this lesson, so you can pause as you would like or when I say to try some of the other ones. So for number 1, we're going to start by setting it equal to the c term. So we add 32 to both sides, which gives us x squared minus 14x equals 32. Second step is to find half of negative 14. Well, half of negative 14 is negative 7. And then square it. Negative 7 squared is positive 49. So we're going to add in 49 and subtract 49 from the left-hand side of the equation. So we have x squared minus 14x plus 49 minus 49 equals 32. Now notice this first three terms are what we call a perfect square binomial because negative 7 and negative 7 add up to negative 14 and negative 7 times negative 7 have a product of positive 49. So that's going to be rewritten as x minus 7 all squared. Bring down the negative 49 equals 32. And now we can start solving. So we want to get everything away from the x. So we start by adding 49 to both sides. So x minus 7 squared equals 81. Then we want to get rid of the square. So we take the square root of both sides. So we get x minus 7 equals 9. But x minus 7 can also equal negative 9, as negative 9 times negative 9 also equals 81. Now, hopefully you've noticed in the past couple lessons that whenever we're solving a quadratic equation, we always get two answers. So make sure the same thing happens here. Whenever you're solving a quadratic equation by completing the square, we still get two equations we have to solve in the end. So solving each, we add 7. We get x equals 16. Add 7. And we get x equals negative 2. So our two solutions are positive 16 and negative 2. You can pause the video now and try number 2 on your own. I'm going to jump to number 3 when you are ready. Unpause. So problem number 3 is a little bit easier because it's already set equal to the c term. So I can jump right into finding the number we need to complete the square. So negative 12 is our b term. Cut in half, that's negative 6. And negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. So we're going to add in and subtract out 36. X squared minus 12x plus 36 minus 36 equals 13. Now, keep in mind the plus 36 and the negative 36 don't actually change the equation because we haven't added in anything other than 0 by adding it and subtracting it. First three terms make a perfect square trinomial because negative 12's half of negative 12 is negative 6, so negative 6 plus negative 6 is negative 12, and negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. So we can rewrite that as x minus 6 all squared minus 36 equals 13, and start to solve. Add 36 to both sides. we get x minus 6 all squared equals 49. Take the square root. So x minus 6 equals positive 7, or x minus 6 equals negative 7. Remember again that it's really important that you have both of those answers, 7 and negative 7. Add 6 to both sides, and x equals 13. Add 6 to both sides, and x equals negative 1. So our two solutions are 13 and negative 1. Again, now you can pause the video and try number 4 on your own. When you're ready to do number 5, unpause. So in number 5, we have a negative outside of the x squared term. So we have to write it so that the c value is what we're solving for, and then factor out the negative. So we're going to start by subtracting 56 to both sides. Gives us negative x squared plus 10x equals negative 56. Then we're going to factor out the negative. So negative x squared minus 10x equals negative 56. And now we're going to start the process of completing the square. So in this case, half of negative 10 is negative 5, and negative 5 squared is positive 25. So we have negative parentheses x squared minus 10x plus 25 minus 25, close the parentheses, equals negative 56. So notice that all has to be in the parentheses because we factored out the negative sign. Now again, those first three terms give us a perfect square trinomial, so we can rewrite it, x minus 5 all squared. Now I'm taking this out of the parentheses. In order to take the negative 25 out of the parentheses, I have to multiply it by the negative 1 outside of the parentheses. Negative 1 times negative 25 gives me positive 25 to remove it, equals negative 56. Subtract 25 from both sides, and negative x minus 5 all squared equals negative 81. Next step is to get rid of the negative. Divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1, and x minus 5 all squared equals positive 81. Next step, take the square root. So x minus 5 can equal 9, or x minus 5 can equal negative 9. Add 5, x equals 14. Add 5, and x equals negative 4. So our two solutions for that equation are 14 and negative 4. Go ahead and try number 6 on your own. Pause the video while you're waiting, then turn it back on for number 7. Okay, so in number 7, we have a value outside of the x squared term as well that we're going to have to worry about factoring out. We're going to start by setting it equal to 48, so we add 48 to both sides, which gives us 3x squared minus 18x equals 48. Then we're going to factor out the 3. 3 times x minus 6, x squared minus 6x equals 48. Now we're going to start the process of completing the square within the parentheses. So 3 times x squared minus 6x. Half of negative 6 is negative 3. Negative 3 all squared is positive 9. So we're going to add in 9 and subtract out 9. Not really changing the equation. Equals 48. Now we notice again the first three terms inside the parentheses are a perfect square. So it's 3 times x minus 3 squared. Take the negative 9 out of the parentheses by multiplying it by 3. 3 times negative 9 is negative 27 equals 48. Add 27 to both sides. 3 times x minus 3 all squared equals 75. Divide by 3, divide by 3. X minus 3 all squared equals 25. Take the square root, take the square root. X minus 3 equals 5, or x minus 3 equals negative 5. Solve in both cases, adding 3. X equals 8. Adding 3 again. X equals negative 2. So our two solutions for number 7 are 8 and negative 2. I'm going to also do number 8 with you, and then you're on your own for 9 and 10. Taking a look at number 8, same idea. We have a fraction out in front of the x squared term. It's already set equal to 40, so we can start by factoring out the 1/2. Now, when we're taking out a fraction, we have to make sure that we don't just divide by the denominator. Okay, so when I'm factoring out a half, that actually doubles everything that's going to be inside the parentheses. So to get half back to half x squared, I just multiply it by x squared. To get a half to 8x, I would multiply that by 16x. So we go from 8 to 16, which is actually doubling it, not cutting it in half. So that all equals 40. Now we start the process of completing the square within the parentheses. So we have 1/2 of x squared plus 16x, half of which is 8, squared is 64, so we add in 64 and subtract 64, equals 40. The first three terms, once again, give us our perfect square trinomial. So we have half of x plus 8, all squared, and then distributing the half to this negative 64 gives me negative 32, equals 40. Add 32 to both sides. We get half of x minus 8 all squared equals 72. Multiply by 2, get rid of the fraction. X minus 8 all squared equals 144. Take the square root. X minus 8 equals 12, or x minus 8 equals negative 12. Add 8, x equals 20. Add 8 again, and x equals negative 4. So my two solutions in this case are x equals 20 and x equals negative 4. So you're going to try the process we just went through for 7 and 8 on 9 and 10, then answer your exit question, then start your homework. Be sure to ask for help if you need it.